All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Parker Zazen, and I'm not super great at Street Fighter, but in my free time, I'm a public school teacher, and I've been messing with Elena a lot, and thought I might put together a little video for people trying to get started with Elena. And this video is intended for anyone who's trying to get up to about maybe high master rank, something like that is probably where my advice stops being as relevant. So if you're a diamond player or below, or even kind of a low master player, I'm hoping that there's going to be some stuff in here that's going to be able to help you. This video is going to cover everything that I think may be useful when playing her. So her overall game plan, the Oki she gets off anti-airs and the combos from that Oki Whiff Punishes, and the Oki and combos she gets from those. Pokes, that should be pretty quick. And then just some miscellaneous stuff that as I've been playing her over these last couple weeks, I think would be important. Okay, so let's begin. What are Elena's strengths? Well, first, she has very far-reaching buttons and some really excellent whiff punish tools. Including one of maybe the best crouching medium punch in the game. I mean, it's very, very fast, it's cancelable, it's 8 frames, it's awesome. And I think it can be tempting to force offense with her using like Link Song roll shenanigans, but I think she's much better suited to play a reactive, slower style until she gets a knockdown. Her corner carry is on par with the best in the game, and once you're in the corner, she has many mix-ups that lead to high damage situations. I also think she makes opponents really focus because a lot of her moves and mix-ups look similar. Her weaknesses, well, clearly some of her tools require that the opponent is standing. She has a high variance crouching medium kick, which can go into target combo, which is cancelable, but again, you have to confirm that they're standing and confirm that it hits. And that crouching medium kick isn't drive cancelable on its own, so that's just an overall weakness. She has decent defense. She has an EXDP she can use, but her level 1 super is only air invincible. So you can't use it to get out of a DI situation if you're in burnout, something like that. And then other target combos like standing, medium punch also, you need to confirm their standing. So that makes things a little bit more difficult. What's up, everybody? We are going to do kind of a live lecture style. I was thinking about kind of editing stuff, and sometimes I like to put subtitles so you don't have to hear my voice, but we just have a lot of things to go over. So I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to do this perfectly. There might be some mistakes and stuff. But we're just going to go through all the stuff that I think is kind of important. We're going to try to do it to the best of our ability. This character is also super new, so I've done a bunch of research, but every once in a while I find something that's kind of interesting, or maybe I don't execute it perfectly. All right, so if you're a lower level player, I can't speak enough about how important anti-airs are. They're the fundamental of playing any type of stable Street Fighter. And luckily, Elena has really, really good anti-air. So she has a 5-frame light DP that goes up quite a bit, actually. Like, it catches stuff a little bit higher than you kind of would expect. As you can see, not very much horizontal distance to it, but pretty good. Medium is only 1 frame faster. It's 6 frames. And then heavy is 7 frames. All of them do really good at anti-airing. You can see that, like, I can do them super late because they have that invincible... air invincibility all the way down, so I can be crouching all the way, and then at the last second hit it, and they're all very, very good. She also, of course, has an EXDP, which is great, invincible reversal, but for the purposes of anti-airing, not always useful. The anti-air I'm going to recommend you use is light. It's not only the fastest, you actually get the best Oki off it as well, and we're going to show that in a minute. Medium and heavy are good too, if you really know that somebody's doing, if you just have a good read on their jump and feel like the extra frames don't matter. Most of the time they won't matter, but the damage difference isn't that much, right? 1,000 for light, 1,400 for heavy. It's something, but again, you get that better Oki off the light, so I'm just going to recommend that in almost every case. The cases that I wouldn't recommend it, that I would think about doing heavy or EX, is when your opponent is like neutral jumping like this. If they're doing this and you're walking back and forth and they think they're playing neutral by neutral jumping, your light might not reach them, like from this range, for example, but heavy will. So if you think your opponent's going to neutral jump, especially like in a situation like this in the corner, man, this character has a great job of going up there and getting them. The other thing that's probably worth mentioning is that her level 1 super is fully air invincible. And so if you really feel like someone's going to jump, you can do this. And you can even do it twice if you want. It's kind of cool. And you can even like follow up with a DP. So, this is obviously a lot slower. It's 9 frames of startup as opposed to 5 or 7. And obviously, you have to be comfortable doing that input rather quickly. But certainly, you can finish off rounds with people like this. And if they're in the corner and you just know they're going to jump because they're in the corner, man, there's some cool stuff here. You can even get little combos like that. Okay. So anyway, so the point of stable Street Fighter is to be able to anti-air well, and she does a great job of doing that. So let's talk about some of the Oki that she gets off this. First of all, the Oki is manually timed, and the reason it's manually timed is because if I DP really late, 37 frames of advantage, but if I DP really early, it's probably coming in close to like 43. Yeah, 43 sounds right. So that's like a 6-frame gap that you're not going to be able to just do some frame kill sequence to get this going. So let me show you what I would do. After I anti-air, what I recommend you do is dash to kill 20 frames. And so you'll have somewhere around 20 frames to deal with, and you'll drive rush and then go into stand medium kick. The reason I think stand medium kick is such a good choice here is, one, well, it's their only plus on block normal, right? So this is +1, which is pretty great. And so on drive rush, that turns into +5. Oh, excuse me. Okay, which is perfect strike throw range. Now, what's something that's really interesting about this, especially with these two Elenas dancing with each other, is you would think after this you would be in throw range. And sometimes you are, but sometimes you're not. And because it's manually timed, you're not going to have a guaranteed throw here all the time. You might have to micro walk. Right? And that's relevant because if you look at this situation, right, you're like pretty far away. Right? Okay. So off light DP, the first Oki that I would love for you to practice is just making sure that you can anti-air, dash, and then drive rush. Let's talk about the combos you get off these situations. The first situation, off drive rush, stand medium kick, you are +9, even without counter hit. So there's all sorts of stuff that you can do here. What I kind of recommend, especially if you're starting out, if you don't want to worry about confirming counter hit, and it all kind of happens fast, right? You DP, you dash, you do your thing, and you're looking. Okay, so even though this can technically go into something like this, because crouching heavy punch is 9 frames, I think doing something that's a little bit less risky, that stays plus in case they're blocking and just gives you an extra hit to confirm is a good idea. So let me show you what I mean by that. Instead of using all 9 positive frames, I recommend that you anti-air. Let me do this. Actually, let me save the status here. And I'm going to dash. I'm going to go into this. Okay? And the reason that this is good is you're +5, so you can actually press this button again. And that's going to work in 2 cases. That's going to work if you hit them because you meatied them. And it's just going to combo. And if they block the first one, but then mash in between, they're going to get smoked by this again. So that's pretty good, and you're keeping plus frames. So if we replay this situation, right, I can press that twice and still be +1, which means I can probably squeeze in a 4-frame here and just kind of, you know, take a little bit of drive meter and also give myself plenty of time to confirm. So what if they do get hit? What if instead of this, they are waking up like this? Oops. I'm just starting my... hold on. That works. I just need to do this a little bit higher. There we go. Okay, so there it is. So obviously... Alright, sorry. I gotta find better ways to save my statuses. Anyway, so when you hit this meaty, what you're gonna want to go into is stand medium kick, and then do it again, and if it hit on the first one, it'll hit on the second one, and then you're gonna confirm that into target combo. To do that, you're just gonna do stand medium kick, stand heavy kick, that creates this target combo for the juggle state, and then I like to cancel into heavy horn. Which is pretty good damage. So that whole sequence kind of looks like this. I need to pause it. Man, hold on. Let me see if I can turn that off. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. Okay, so you get pretty good damage, and if you're closer to the corner here, you get really good corner carry off this. Right, so pretty easy confirm to do because you're doing the plus button twice in a row, and so you have kind of 2 hits to make sure that that's hitting before you go into the Rhino Horn and get that. You're also going to get Oki here, which is pretty good. You're plus 50, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. If your opponent's blocking instead, and you're going in the same sequence, right, I'm doing this twice, and I have plenty of time to not go into the target combo. But say, for instance, that they are trying to mash. Because you're plus here, and this happens anywhere, obviously. Oops. Because you're plus here, you can counter hit them. Right, and that counter hit didn't look very convincing because I couldn't confirm it, but you can confirm stuff. I'm pretty sure that works, right? Let's find out. Man, I'm bad. I thought for sure I could go from crouch jab into crouch medium punch, but let's see if I'm messing it up. Oh no, it's plus 7, so you can't. So that makes me wonder if I can do this instead. That's not going to reach. That's 8 frames. That's 9 frames. Maybe you don't get anything. Oh, I bet maybe stand jab. Let's find out. Nope. Okay, looks like you can't get anything off that, but that's okay. You can still counter hit them and leave yourself in a good position and not whiff anything afterwards. All right. Okay, so the next thing is, if they're just blocking, however... Yep, so if they're just blocking in this situation, you know, obviously throw's good here, other things that are good here, walk forward, low short, trying to catch them, walking back, or pressing a button delayed, walk forward, low short's good, and you can get into a combo like this. Okay, so that's all pretty solid. The other thing you can do, of course, is if they're trying to, if they block it and their instinct is to then throw, you have so much time to walk back and shimmy them. It's really, really nice. And then there's other combos. I'll show you some better Whiff Punish combos here in a second. But just off this anti-air, just off this situation right here, there is so much stuff you can do. Right, you can hit confirmed things and take them to the corner. You can do some pretty good damage. You can set up the throw game. And what's significant about Elena's throw game here is that even on back roll mid-screen, her forward throw does actually get Oki. Manually timed. There we traded, but even in this trade, actually, I could have comboed. Let me just do it slightly faster because we can get this to hit clean. I think I can get it to hit clean. I feel like I've done that. Whoa, that's kind of crazy. I thought I could get this. Maybe I've been doing it and it's fake. Maybe. Okay, so it looks like if you mash this, it will trade. And that's just based on the distance. If they roll back. If your opponent's not rolling back, though, mid-screen, you can get something that you can get in the corner. Which is... meterless, you get this little thing. Which counter hits, which is kind of cool. Okay. Alright, anyway, so throw. You're getting trade on mash there, which is okay. I mean, obviously not great. You know, I do that a lot to people, but the reason you might want to do it anyways is say someone's recovering backwards, but as soon as they wake up, they're just walking back. So instead of doing this, they are just literally walking backwards, because a lot of people do that, especially like if this is the throw here. Right, I'm catching them here. And what's significant about this is, look, we are full screen after that. They probably feel pretty safe. You know, they feel pretty safe just resetting to neutral. And so unless they're mashing that 4-frame button, which we just learned will trade, if not, I gotta do stuff like this. And this is crazy because they're so far, but I actually get a combo here. If I'm just a little bit closer. And you get, you know, whatever stuff you would like to get here. Okay, and we'll go over some of those combos in a little bit. Alright, so setting up the throw mid-screen is really good because it pushes them so close to the corner, and you do get a little bit of Oki. So pretty good. Okay, what's the other thing? Oh, say you are doing you anti-air somebody, and you're doing your Oki, and they're getting sick of it, so they're gonna bust out, but you know they're about to bust out. Of course, oops, I want to set this back to this one. You can do this, do your dash, do your drive rush, and then punish them, right? So you can drive rush into nothing here, and that will catch their reversal. All right, so all of this so far, which is really just about reacting with medium kick on the drive rush and setting up a meaty situation off anti-air, is excellent corner carry, and you have every option you want, right? It's just about outplaying your opponent. You have everything you can do. Sweet. So that's anti-airs. All right, let's talk about whiff punishes, which I think is one of Elena's favorite, best strengths here. The ones that I've been enjoying the most is definitely crouch medium punish. This one reaches forever, 8 frames. It's special cancelable. You can go into all sorts of stuff with it. You get big combos, right? Just a really good whiff punish tool. I'm going to talk about why some others might be a little bit better in some situations, but let's just talk about this for now. If your opponent is whiffing, I think one of the best things you can do is cancel that into medium Scythe. A couple reasons for that. One, later in the video, we'll talk about all the things you can do with Scythe here and how you can reset it and, you know, go into overhead on hit and do all sorts of stuff. I'm not a big fan of that, but I'll talk about it in the miscellaneous section towards the end. But what's nice about this, it's the only move that you can cancel into from a long distance like this. I was trying to do DP, sorry. Alright, this will work most of the time. People don't typically like canceling their whiff punishes into DP. And the most damage you can get is off Rhino Horn, which will work most of the time. Unless you're whiff punishing something that your opponent's doing a crouching move, because of course, if your opponent's crouching, then Rhino Horn just whiffs. She just goes right over, right? So, oops. Not trying to do that. There we go. Even EX, sorry. Alright, so if they were doing a crouching move here, which is kind of difficult to anticipate if you are just playing neutral and looking for a whiff, you're thinking about your spacing, you're standing at a right spot, you're thinking about anti-airing, you're thinking about drive rushing. It's kind of difficult, so excuse me. I recommend that you go into Scythe. Now, Scythe isn't very much damage, but there is a couple things that's nice about it. One, you get Oki off this situation. And two, I want you to look at that frame advantage and notice that you're plus 42. So say you're poking at somebody in the corner, and you're setting up like a spacing trap, like they're doing, I don't know, maybe a punch or something. Let me put her on block. Apologize. Did I get this to whiff, actually? Maybe not, because it's such a big button. Dude, that button is so massive. Okay, I can't actually get that one to whiff on that spacing trap, but let me just do another thing. How about crouch medium kick? Why is she not blocking? Man, her buttons are so long, it's actually difficult to spacing trap. So let me do it like this instead. There's definitely spacing traps there. I just wasn't ready to share that, so give me a sec. Jump. Okay, so say you're pestering someone's buttons in the corner, and you get this Whiff Punish. You actually get a safe jump here, because it's plus 42. And I'll show that just in case you don't believe me. So the sequence is like this. Right. So in the corner, this is a great thing just to cancel into naturally. There's not too many other situations where you want this safe jump, but in the corner, she actually gets a pretty ridiculous amount of damage off that blocked reversal. Okay, so that's really good, but the other thing that it's good for is it's drive cancelable. So one of my favorite sequences to get into, because it's high damage, high corner carry, and leads to some of my favorite Oki and combos in the game, is this situation. Just realized. Okay. So what's happening here is I'm drive rushing the crouch medium punch into stand medium kick, and that links into crouch heavy punch. From crouch heavy punch, I'm doing heavy scythe, and then I'm doing medium rhino horn. Now there's a specific reason I like to do medium rhino horn instead of. Some other Elena players like to do this. Oops. They like to go into light horn. So if you're close to the corner, you can get this DP, which is pretty good. But let me show you why I like going into medium horn. First of all, imagine you're playing neutral against your opponent and they whiff. And you're like, okay, so now you went from mid-screen to you're in the corner, right? Pretty good. And then from this position, you can do all sorts of Oki situations. And this is how I've been winning in the last 2 weeks, a lot. The first thing that you can do, which I think is very, very good, is you can frame kill with a stand jab and then immediately do forward medium kick overhead. And if you do this frame perfect, not only does it hit Meaty, but even if they're just blocking, which happens all the time, you get this Meaty overhead. I missed it. Man, I swear I never missed this. I'm nervous. Alright, there it is. So +4 there, which is so good, right? Because now without a counter hit, this person was just waking up crouching in a very quick sequence, and now they're getting hit. And then you can combo off that, right? You can hit confirm it. And so one way that I'll like really kind of hurt people and win a lot of rounds, vitality, let's just put it to standard so I can show you what this sequence might look like. I go for my Meaty overhead. I could do this again. And now we're set up in the same spot. Okay, and that's really valuable to set it up in the same spot because it's looping offense. And I got, obviously a little bit more drive intensive, but you're just pushing someone to the corner and making them guess very, very quickly. Let's talk about some of the other options that you can do off of this. Man, it's so annoying. Okay, so we save the status here. So you can kill with jab and then go overhead and get that Meaty. Okay. The other thing that you can do is you can go low. You can get a Meaty low, and not just any Meaty low. You can get a Meaty low that gives you +6 frames without counter hit. Now, what's the significance about that? Well, first of all, if you normally do crouch medium kick, it does naturally combo into jab. Right? It does do that. But you can frame kill this to hit on the last active frame of that crouching medium kick so that you can get it to be +6, and then you naturally combo into stand medium kick. The way you do that is you frame kill with stand medium punch, and then go into the low. And that's +6. Now, you've been overheading someone over and over with this great Meaty setup. You've been comboing, you've been doing all this stuff. So now they're like, I'm not going to reversal because I'm a smart player. I'm going to stand and block this, and they'll be minus or whatever. Well, then you do this. and then, you know, into whatever you want. So that's a pretty good situation. Now this Oki loops a lot, and there's actually a lot of situations that set it up, and I kind of base my game plan around this Oki situation. And so, you know, you want to have a couple other options. The first option you really want is to block reversals. So if you're going to block reversals, the way that I recommend you do that is like this. I'm going to frame kill with stand heavy kick. So again, I'm frame killing with stand heavy kick, and you'll see that leaves me at +3. This makes the opponent think that you're doing some kind of setup, and so they may choose in that moment to wake up like this, and then little do they know that you know, have been in the lab and have some crazy combos for that. The other thing that this frame kill in particular is useful for, setting up the +3, is obviously just throwing. And because you're +3, if they choose to wake up with an immediate throw, and you're trying to block EXDP, for example, right, you can kind of shimmy them like that. Alright, so what's the point of all this? The whole point of this is that if they whiff, you can take them to the corner. Once they're in the corner, you can mix them up with that looping Oki. Okay? It is important to know that some Elena players do like to do the light horn instead. Right? And that is good. What you get off this sequence, you get a little bit more damage, and then you get a much simpler Oki, which is good. It's totally good. So if you're in the situation where instead of going for the overhead and doing this higher variance kind of mix-up style, you can do the same thing, light horn, into medium DP. Oh, oops. That's annoying, sorry. Light horn into medium DP. And if you dash forward, you are +5, which is just enough to get a meaty 6 frame plus situation. And now you're in a very similar situation that you were when you anti-aired somebody, and so you're kind of using the same skill over again here. Dash forward. Right, and I get this situation all the time. This is a meterless confirm after you push them to the corner. Gosh, I gotta turn off that health thing. And so that confirm is just really nice. Okay. Alright, so what I'm looking for in neutral is first, will my opponent jump at me? And if they do, I anti-air them with light DP, and then I try to get some Oki started. If they're not jumping at me, I'm hoping that they are whiffing. Right? This is the next best situation. And I'm using my early drive meter to push someone all the way to the corner and instantly get into my offense. There's some other buttons that you can use to whiff punish besides this one, though. This one's super reliable because you don't have to confirm crouching or standing. But the next one I'm going to show you I use probably just as much, and that is stand medium punch. Stand medium punch in itself is not drive cancelable. It's not special cancelable. As you can see, I'm inputting DP here. But it does have a target combo with itself, and that second part is cancelable. This one is really good for a couple reasons. Well, let me talk about why it's bad first, I guess. The first hit will hit on a crouching opponent, but the second hit won't. So, say you're trying to whiff punish someone doing crouch medium kick or something. And she's doing both. Oh, that actually stood her up. Which just happened. So I guess on punish counter it stands them up. Does it do that on counter hit? I have had this happen sometimes and I didn't know why. Okay, so on punish counter it stands them up. You can see? So it's not a problem on punish counter. So if you're using this correctly, it always works. But say you're catching the startup of something because you're just pressing it, and then you're just trying to go into it, you will miss that 100%. Alright, so a couple options that you can do here. The first one that I'm showing is into medium horn. This is just a great, great situation. I mean, you've pushed them to the corner quite a bit. And you actually get Oki here. We'll talk about that Oki in a second. But the other things you can do are kind of interesting. You can go into EX Horn, and that goes into heavy DP. So you're getting 2,900 damage off 2 bars for Whiff Punish. That's pretty good. Right, this is one of my favorite things to do. My absolute favorite things to do is just cancel that EX Rhino Horn right into level 2. And this is a pretty crazy amount of damage for very little meter, and that meter you get back almost in full by the time it's over. 4,000 damage, and of course you can go into healing as well. Alright, so Whiff Punishing with this move is very rewarding. And you can even drive rush it if you would prefer to get into our first Oki. I know that one didn't combo. This does take a little bit of practice to get that Oki, but when I'm actually not recording for you guys, I hit it almost all the time. It's very, very rare that I don't. Okay, so stand medium punch has problems if your opponent is crouching, but if you're using it as a whiff punish tool, it's actually perfect, right? You just have to hit that punish counter, the recovery frames of your opponent's move, and that works out pretty good. Okay, let's talk about the Oki you get from this situation. Couple things you get. You're plus 39, so you can dash forward and then manually time something. Like that. But the other thing you can do in this situation is do double roll. Like this. Oops. 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 I'm pressing it too early. Make sure you wait for it to whiff. Right, and you get cool combos like this. The significance about this one in particular is you're +1 here. And so you can't walk out of throw range necessarily, but you can press first and then walk up and throw and do whatever you'd like. So kind of cool Oki there if you don't want to drive rush. Okay, anything else off of this? No, I just like this button a lot. It counter hits a lot of things, and you can be pretty far away. And the second hit almost always hits. It's so rare that it doesn't. So I am so far here, and it's still hitting. The only time I've ever seen it whiff is if it's like a massive move, like maybe Zangief stand heavy punch or Gladius or something. But you can see this is like you are not in danger of this low forward at all. And if you catch that extended hurt box, you got a big dividend. You're pushing them to the corner. All right, last kind of whiff punish tool here is stand heavy punch. Stand heavy punch is obviously a lot slower at 12 frames. You really have to be telegraphing something. But, you know, there's situations where people will whiff big things. And so here's an example. Elena's forward heavy punch, which is a very good move. But I can whiff punish it with this button. Again, we'll go into some of these combos in a second, but just as evidence, you get a lot out of whiff punishing with this thing. It's very good. The other situation that it's very good is instead of whiff punishing, just baiting a shimmy. So if I set her to block, this is a very good situation for you. Right, whatever you want. Oh man. Alright, so this is my favorite shimmy. It's just so good. People want to throw there so bad because it's actually a really good spot to throw, right? You're +5 and whatever. Okay, so you can use a stand heavy punch to whiff punish. And, you know, even not on counter hit, just on standard hit, you can hit confirm it. And let's see if I can demonstrate that. Okay, so it's pretty easy to hit confirm. And you even get a combo off it. If you're willing to spend that EX meter. Like going into level 2, for example. Alright, so it's not the worst thing in the world to throw out. The other thing is, you'll notice the second hit whiffs on crouching. Which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's not the biggest deal because it doesn't come up very much. And if your opponent is standing instead, even if you like do the follow-up and you're not supposed to, you're only -3, so it's really not the end of the world. And again, on regular hit, you get a combo, which is pretty nice. Alright, so those are the 3 tools that I'll use to whiff punish typically. Crouching medium punch, stand medium punch, and standing heavy punch. Alright, so we're hoping that we can anti our opponent. We're hoping we can get them to whiff. And if either of those things happen, we get our offense going with pretty insane corner carry. You can commit a lot of drive resources to these things, or you cannot, and that's just something that as you get more skilled with Elena, that will kind of come up. All right, so then the question is, how do you get your opponent to whiff and jump at you? And the easiest way is to just do a bunch of random things in neutral, because if you're whiffing buttons, they're going to be looking to whiff punish you. So this is not going to be a video about how to create those whiffs in particular, but just a couple basic things that I might be looking out for as I'm trying to get more stable and neutral. The first one that I'm really curious about what my opponent's doing is when I throw out forward heavy punch, which is this super far advancing and hit confirmable, by the way. Super hit confirmable. There, I missed it. There, I missed it. Ah. Okay. Anyways, if you're, you do not have to be very good at hit confirming to do this, but it's probably worth practicing. Anyways, the point that I bring up with this is when you poke at someone like this, with this really far-reaching move, at lower levels, their instinct might be to DI. And that's not the worst instinct in the world because if I do it like twice, for example, oops, I will get punish countered, right? This move can be easily DI'd. So if you're spamming it too much, they might do that. Another thing an opponent might do is after they block it, they might drive rush. Right? And that's actually not the worst idea ever as well. Because if I'm trying to press a button, I'll get counter hit. And I have to be able to check this, right? Which I can. But it adds a layer. So when I'm thinking about what my opponent's going to do, one thing that I'll do is I will press this button and watch them block it, trying to hit confirm it, and I'll see what they'll do. Another option that they might do when they see that is, oops, they will jump. And again, this is not the worst idea in the world, because if I'm just throwing buttons out, there's a chance that I just get anti-aired. Or I mean, jumped in on, right? So obviously you can anti-air them, but this is how you set up them doing kind of crazy stuff. Instead of committing to all these different options, I might just walk up to my opponent and do this. And if they jump, I'll anti them. And if they drive rush, I'll check it, right? And in both those situations, I'm now getting into my offense. I am pushing them towards their corner and doing the Oki that we just talked about. Another option might be is they just block or they try to take their turn back with a button. So say they are trying to use her very good stand medium punch to fire back. Now I'm whiff punishing. All right, so it's not really a whiff punish here. This is more of a spacing trap, I guess. But when you're pressing this button, you want to be ready to react to whatever options they have. One thing that might help you get better with this, set up the dummy to do all these different options, right? DI, drive rush, jump, whatever. Maybe start with 2 of them and build it into 3 or 4. But when you press this button, what are they doing? You know, are they pressing a button or not? That's like very, very basic, stable neutral. Don't let them jump at you. Don't let them drive rush at you. And press buttons and see what they do. You can do a similar, instead of poking like this, sometimes we're really used to just pressing bigger buttons in neutral, and we will get whiff punish for them. So I can tell if my opponent's looking to whiff punish me by a couple reasons. The first one is they'll be kind of walking back and trying to keep a certain space. They're trying to keep a space just outside of wherever a low 4 would normally be. Right, like this. Okay. The other thing that I can do is if I'm far back like this and I'm in that space where my crouch medium kick would get whiff punished, or this button would get whiff punished, or this button would get whiff punished, right around here. Sometimes I'll just walk forward a little bit and press a little button like this or this. And what I'm doing is I'm seeing if they're looking to whiff punish. And the reason that's significant is if my opponent is trying to whiff punish me, but I do a smaller button than they expect, then I might be able to whiff punish them for trying to whiff punish me, right? And this is where Elena really thrives. She has these massive buttons, these hit confirmable buttons, into big corner carry, into big damage. So if you can get a master of neutral with her great anti-airs and her great buttons, I think that this is probably the style that she should play. All right. Okay, so that's just some basic starter stuff. Let's talk about some specific things. The next thing I want to talk about is canceling her Scythe. So her Scythe is this move. You can see there that it actually frame traps naturally, which is kind of funny. The reason you don't want to do that is because it's -12 on block, so she can totally blow it up. Here's the options that she has out of Scythe. First of all, she can roll. Okay, so here's roll. You can see on block, this is terrible. It's -12. The whole thing's interruptible. And in fact, there's no option that she can take on block that your opponent can't mash out of. So the only time you want to do these Scythe shenanigans that I'm about to show you is when it's on hit. Let's talk about what the options are here. So, say you confirm like this, and you go into Scythe. You could either take the 1290 damage and this plus 34 Oki, which is real Oki. You can do stuff with it. Or you can say, you know what, I'm going to reset my opponent and try to mess with them. Here's the options out of that. You can roll. Oops. You can roll. I rolled twice because I'm an idiot. Okay. And you're -3. Okay. So your opponent, because you're -3, might want to mash or throw or do something like that. The reason that's a bad idea for them, typically, is because if they do choose to mash or throw or something like that, I think 2 should work. No, we want to do this after they get hit, don't we? What do we want? On hit, yeah. Sorry, I had to think about that. Okay, so they do mash. You can do the light kick follow-up. And that counter hits them. Not only does that counter hit them, as I just showed, you can confirm this pretty easily into EX Rhino Horn. Oops. Into DP, into the corner carry, or into level 2. Or, of course... Oh, I missed the level 3 there, but you can go into level 3 there as well. So this frame traps, right? The other thing they could, if they're doing this a lot, you can go into medium kick, which knocks them into the air and you get a little bit of a combo. Not much. Okay, they're in the corner, you get a little bit more. The risky part about this one is, if they block it, I'm -4, so they can punish. So doing the roll into the medium kick option, I think, is not very good. But the light kick option is pretty good. And then the one that most people do, which is a really bad idea, is the overhead. The reason the overhead's a bad idea, I'm not going to do a crouching light punch here. I'm just going to do stand heavy punch. which is 12 frame startup. Okay, so 12 frames. And if I do this, I mean, she can get whatever she wants. You can press any button you want. So doing the overhead sometimes is a little cheeky, but it's super, super dangerous. So really, what's the mix-up here? Really, the mix-up is, are they going to DI? Because that is totally an option. DI beats all the options I've shown so far. I cannot DI this back. Can't DI this back. Okay, so they can DI. The other thing they can do to beat all these options is, I don't know, maybe more risky, I'm not sure. Depends on your opinion. Is EXTP. Alright, so here's the rock, paper, scissors behind hitting on Scythe. You confirm your lights. And you're trying to decide, do I just take the damage? Or do I reset? Now, if they decide to EXDP or DI, well, the counter to that is I do nothing, and then I mess them up. Okay. So it literally is rock, paper, scissors. You're not reacting to anything. You're guessing whether or not your opponent's going to bust out with DI or something else. I guess I might as well show this. Right? And then you counter DI them. If your opponent chooses to do nothing, here's what you get out of it. Here's like the best case scenario. The best case scenario, if they block, is you go for this really kind of crazy overhead and you're +3 in their face, and that's pretty good. What's much more likely is you go for the frame trapping one, you're +1 in their face, and again, it's good. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, it's fine. But it's not like, I don't know, you're probably not winning the game off these +1 interactions, probably. But, you know, maybe you do it when you want them to bust out. Maybe your opponent only has, you know, less than 2 meters of drive left, and so you really want them to have to force their way out. It can be good. But, you know, overall, I would just be careful kind of using this as your main strategy. I think a lot of Elena players will probably do it a lot. I just don't really think it's all that great. One time I will do it sometimes. I'll loop it towards the end of a round after kind of playing solid for a while, try to catch my opponent off guard. But again, in general, canceling this, I think, is better for combo purposes than pressure purposes. All right. One other thing I want to talk about just very quickly was drive rush checks. I think stand light kick is the best for that. Crouching medium kick should be good because it advances a little bit, but it's 9 frames. Stand medium punch gets beaten by lows. Crouching medium punch is 8 frames, so she really doesn't have like a good, fast, you know, 6 or 7 frame medium. This is okay, but it kind of stands still at 6 frames. So I'll take the 5 frames of the stand short probably over some of these other options, and you just don't get too much out of it. If my opponent decides to drive rush at me a lot with fast buttons, this totally works. Obviously, if the right ranges. From further back, obviously you can get more stuff. Hoping that they whiff. Okay. But typically, because I'm playing in this range anyway, I'm wanting to walk towards my opponent and play neutral. I'm usually going for this. It's not like a big, like, mental thing to do this. I mean, just doing stand short, quick button, that's what I recommend that you check drive rushes with. And it just allows you to maybe press it a little more than you should and still be able to anti-air and do your other stuff, your whiff punishes. Okay. All right, let's talk about crouching medium kick and why it's so frustrating. Crouching medium kick looks like this. It's 9 frame startup, so it's very slow. It has pretty decent reach, but not better than, you know, good crouching medium kicks in the game. And what's really frustrating about it when you're trying to play footsies is if someone is doing their crouching medium kick and you want to punish that with your own, you're +8 here, which is great. But if you try to do target combo, it whiffs because they're crouching. And so this is like the big kind of issue with the character that may stop them from being really good. At certain ranges, you can go like this. But not all ranges, right? You have to be right outside that sweet spot. And so you can get it, but man, is that difficult. In a game that's already like just a little bit of fractional spacing and you're not able to combo that. So then, what are you really using it for? Well, if you're convinced, maybe they're walking back on a situation like this. Maybe they're trying to walk out of throw range here and you just want a hard commit to this option. So again, they're like they're just deciding that on block they're just walking back, right? They're not gonna deal with anything. Maybe you can catch them like this. A couple things that is kind of crazy about this is it combos naturally. The target combo combos naturally without anything after it. So this is +4. Okay, so you can do some like interesting stuff. So if you want to, you know, completely crush your ability to do damage, I do think there will be some maybe meter optimal stuff that comes up with this because there's so many hits. Overall, crouching medium kick, you just want to use it as a poke. I'm never ever confirming it. I'm trying to just do that almost never. If you're real close, you know, confirm it like this. Something like this, right? Without spinning the meter. That way, if you just get crouch medium or crouch light punch, you know, it's whatever. The problem with it, too, is on block, it's -4. So it's punishable. So this crouching medium kick may be the worst in the game. I don't know. You guys can let me know if you think there's a worse one. It's hard for me to imagine a worse one. It's punishable on block. It's not cancelable. It has a target combo that they want you to eat shit on. It's literally going over her head, right? It's pretty bad. One of its applications, because it's +4 on hit, right? Off drive rush, it is +8, so you can, you know, get into stuff, which is nice. Right, this is a pretty common sequence. But because it's -4 on block, it's only 0 neutral. And so people don't know this yet. They always think it's a drive rush button, so they need to fucking respect it. Excuse my language. So, you know, I'll cheat people and go for this, but it's really a 6-frame gap. You should be doing that. You can contest with a 4-framer. As people get more and more comfortable playing against this character, they'll probably contest that a little bit more. So yeah, crouch medium kick, not that great. The Oki that I like to go for, where I'm doing it, is sometimes I'm like mid-screen. Off this situation, I'm +42, but obviously on full screen I can't get a safe jump, so I'll dash and then do this. The reason this works, is because you're full screen, so people just want to back, or like get back, right? And that works. And so say, instead of blocking, they just get hit by all this. You can push them pretty far to the corner. Right, they're in the corner. That's corner to corner off like one hit into an Oki sequence, and then even here you actually have Oki as well. Okay. I have one more situation to show you, just the Oki off of throws in the corner, because there's some good stuff here, and then we'll do some combo stuff. All right, so I want to talk about her options for post throw in the corner. She has a lot of opportunities to get good throws in the corner. We talked about some of those already. like this. Just kind of works. The other Oki options you would go for here, right? Pop this, dash forward, throw. On block here, right? You can micro step throw. So there's just a lot of situations that you want to throw, especially because, as we showed a little bit earlier, her stand heavy punch, you get so many great combos off of it that you want to set up shimmy as often as possible, and you want to make your opponent want to tech throws because you're just going to get more bang for your buck that way. Okay, so let's show some of my favorite things to do. The first one that just is kind of safe and normal is after throw, if you do link step into light kick. This is -4, but no one can punish it in the game. And on hit, you actually don't get anything, really. Oops. I don't think you can get DP here or anything. Yeah, I don't think so. But anyways, it's just a nice little poke, right? And what I like about it is, after you do this, your opponent will sometimes try to swing a button that you can walk back and punish counter. Or this is a great spot to catch a jump. So maybe they block this and they jump right away and you get a situation. Okay, so not the most exciting thing in the world. One thing that I think is really good is drive rush medium kick. This is +5. You know, you're setting them up for strike throw immediately. And I believe this beats wake up reversal. Yeah, so you can drive rush into nothing, right? So that's just a really, really strong option because the damage she gets off of that is really, really high. Okay, so you can just drive rush in. You can, of course, also throw loop, but it's manually timed. I'm doing it a little bit too early. This does work. I don't ever practice it. I go for other options. Because I can just do this instead if I want. Oops. I can kind of counter hit this situation and then throw if I want, right, on block, whatever. The other one that's kind of interesting, though, is you can actually get a plus on block crouch medium kick. So that one was +2, and this is normally +0, as we just talked about. So as your opponent gets smarter and smarter, they might see that crouch medium kick and think it's a good time to mash because it's +0, but actually you're +2 off this meaty setup. Right, there I missed it. There I missed it. Okay, so I'm not actually getting it all that consistently, but you definitely can. When I've practiced it before, you can definitely get it consistently. Okay, so that's an option. Another option that I really like a lot is just going EX into the light kick step here. So I'm doing the EX roll into light kick. And what's nice about that is if they get hit by it, you do get stuff. Right, I can do this. I can do this. I think I can even do this. Obviously, this is expensive at this point. But, you know, it's good damage, and on block here, it's just an immediate... It's a meaty that's immediately +1. Okay. And then same thing, you know, some people are just going to, like, see some stuff going on and decide they're going to bust out. And so I just want to show that you can just roll. Ooh, does that not work? Okay, so be careful with that. The other thing that a lot of people like to do on Wake Up is DI. Which at first seems like a problem. Because some of the options I show here, you just gotta be ready for it. Right there, I didn't get it, but this does work. Right, so if you mash it, same with this. I'm pretty sure that you can DI back. Let's find out together. Yeah, so last frame there. And then you get some cool damage or whatever. Okay. All right. So don't let people DI you in the corner, but be ready for that, especially when you're at a lower level and people are just doing it. People like to DI against Elena a lot. We talked about, for some of the reasons, stand or forward heavy punch and the roll shenanigans could typically be DI'd, but not in this situation. So the options that I recommend going for after throw, just Meaty. I forgot she was doing that. Okay, just, Meaty like this to set up, you can hit confirm this just like on the anti-airs. And then when they're more conditioned, you go low, you wait, you anti-air them. Or if you want to, you can go overhead. All right, which reminds me, let's talk about overhead for a second. Really, really great overhead overall. Leaves you +6, so you typically want to go into something like this. Stand medium kick is your combo filler for this spot when you're +6. I think this is probably the best option. It's meterless, good damage. It goes into level 3 if you need it to. The other option that you have if you want to is you can go into EX Scythe. And the reason you would want to do that is you get this pop-up into the corner carry. So, this damage, oops. So this is 2330 with no meter. Okay, 3210 with a little bit of meter. So, it's a good option, especially if you're all the way in the corner. You can get a lot of, corner carry and all that stuff from that situation off overhead. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to show you was the combo routing that you can get off of stand heavy punish counter. I think I forgot to show that a little bit earlier. So let's talk about it. This is the situation where you are either blowing up a throw, you've blocked an EXDP or super, or you've whiff punished somebody with stand heavy punch. So this is the punish counter situation off this, which happens pretty often. Okay, so first of all, you have some meterless options that are like fine, and that would be like, what am I looking for here? Oh, sorry, I was looking at my notes and I was looking for the wrong thing. Okay, so a couple things that you can do. Okay, so if you're close, meterless, I think EXDP is probably the best option. You can also do horn as well. If you're too far away, you might whiff the DP, but you'll never miss the horn. So the horn's probably best. One thing that happens to me a lot is I'm trying to find a way to get into level 3 mid-screen without spending meter, and I'll go into something like this. Just going into a horn is the way to do it. The reason I bring this up is because there's other situations where a horn doesn't actually go into level 3 mid-screen. Let me show that really quick just so you can know where my paranoia is coming from. So if I do this combo, for example, it just whiffs. Right, so you always have to be a little conscious mid-screen how to get into level 3. Here, real simple. Right, nice and easy. Okay. What else can you go for here? Oh yeah. Okay, so here's my normal cash outs off a situation. So say you're putting pressure on an EXDP or something. The two ways that I like to do this are based on the same idea. You're going to do this into drive, rush, crouch, medium punch. Like this. And you're going to cancel that into heavy scythe. You're going to roll, and then you're going to go into whatever you want. This was a just 1 meter conversion. That does quite a lot of damage. Like 5,000, 5,100, something like that. Okay, so she has trouble using kind of all of her meter mid-screen to get a punish like this, but if you catch somebody teching from anywhere on screen, they are dead, right? This is just a little bit too much. Let's see, is there anything else that I like off this? No, I don't think so. A combo that I think is cool, but is actually less efficient, is this one. Oops. Try to delay this a little bit. So you can go from another version of the link step. Whatever. It's not as much damage as the other one for the same resources, but I think it's cool. Okay, so this is for when you are punish countering somebody. But the other reason that these routes come up, and it's very similar, is on counter DI. So let's talk about some counter DI routes. For counter DI, there's two main routes that you can go for here. The first one is going to be dash forward into heavy punch target combo, like this. And what this does is kind of emulate the height that you would use for the regular punish counter. So all those combos that I just showed you work in this situation as well. Right, you can do all this stuff. And you'll see, I mean, this is off DI instead of just the raw stand heavy punch. But it does very similar damage. 5,300. It is so much for counter DI with only 1 meter, right? That's really good. Meterless, or I mean, if you just want to finish the combo, you go like this. Oops. Without super, I'm talking about. Apologize. And then you go into whatever, right? Okay. So that's like the first route. It is the most efficient, I think. And especially if you're gonna like go into level 3 and stuff, it's really good. If you're in the corner, you get similar stuff, but you get an extra like DP at the end, right? Really, really good damage off this situation. The other thing that you can do though is you can just do crouch heavy punch into Scythe. Now the benefit of this is there's a couple things. One, maybe you want to go for that Oki that we talked about earlier, where they're in the corner and you want to set up jab and overhead and stuff. So if that's the case, you might want to go like this instead. So you can set up this overhead, right? And that's totally valid. The other reasons you might want to go for it is sometimes it's difficult to figure out how to use your meter in this situation. Like, it's kind of annoying to figure out, like, oh, how do I use all my meter in a way that's efficient? But if you just do this, you can just do like a regular drive rush combo. And maybe, like, I don't know, find a way to use your meter a little bit better. So it's, I don't know, it's a little bit more reliable. The other thing is, like, here you have to remember to dash forward. Because if you don't dash forward, you don't get very much, right? So, okay, so that's punish counter DI. I dash forward, I do this, and I go into this stuff, and you'll see the corner carry we're getting here is crazy. Okay, big damage, big corner carry. You will see some stuff on Twitter where someone will do jump like this. I forget how they do it. I don't know, something like this. And that might be good. I don't know. I haven't messed with it too much. I don't like jumping DI combos, but you can do that if you want. All right, let's talk about wall splat combos. Only a couple things to show here. You can do the same kind of starter with stand heavy punch. Oops. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. And you can get, you know, the same combos that we were just talking about. So one thing that's nice about choosing this kind of combo package, wall splat DI, heavy punch, punishing an EXDP, you start with the heavy punch target combo, and then doing the punish counter DI, they all kind of have the same structure. You don't have to learn a bunch of different combos. You can kind of do the same ones in all 3 of these situations. The other thing about this is if you're in the corner in any of these situations, you can get quite a bit of damage by going for some more interesting combos. Let me show you some of them. So say, for example, someone wakes up, EXDPs, and you punish counter them. This combo isn't actually the best, but it's fun. So you can combo level 1 into level 2, which is pretty cool. Let me show what's going on here again. What I'm doing is just doing a bunch of delayed crouch heavy punches. You can also just go straight into level 3, which is actually more damage. Alright, this is quite a bit of damage off the situation. Now, I showed this off a punish counter, but this also works off the wall splat. Okay, so 6,000 damage for that situation. But you can also do it here. Right, and you're not going to get 6,000 damage because of the scaling of the DI, but you are going to kill people when they're not expecting it. 5,400 is pretty good, right? So you can cash out like that. Other than that, when you're in the corner, the only combo routing that I would really change in general is, every time you get light horn, you get heavy DP almost universally. And if you're in the situation where you're DIing, you can pop them up like this, and again get that DP. So pretty good damage on that situation. The other route that you can go for here off wall splat that I was doing before, I like it, but it's up to you. Target combo, medium Scythe, pop them up, and you can do this. You don't have as much flexibility here because you can't continue the combo. It's, you can still get into whatever super you want, but it's a little bit trickier. So if you want to go level 1, you do it right away, and then you can like light horn or something. Right, pretty good. I mean, decent damage off that level 1. Also, in case you didn't know, you can level 1 twice. Oh, that actually didn't have enough juggle points. Typically, you can do that off a normal combo because we lost some juggle points on that wall splat, but that does typically work. If you want to go into level 2 here, again, right after the pop, probably want to go for that. Again, this is probably not all that worth it, to be honest. And then level 3, you just do it off the end. Right, off the medium Rhino Horn instead. So this is the wall splat combos. Nothing too crazy. You probably shouldn't be wall splatting people all that often. Anyways. Alright. Okay, so we covered most punish counters. There's some really big punish counters that you'll see on Twitter and stuff that start like this. I don't know. I actually just made that combo up. I don't know what the actual cool one is. Let's see. I've messed with these before, so I'm just looking at some notes really quick. I don't know. You know, you can find stuff. If they want to wake up DP, it's cool. It's cool to have these cool optimal combos. Most of the time in tournament, it just doesn't really matter to me. I'll just start with my stand heavy punches. It's way more reliable. But because we're here, might as well show some stuff. Scratch wheel, OD. Oh, she's not blocking at all. Alright, so this is like pretty good damage. I think I could probably actually got one more loop with the crouch heavy punch. Alright, a little bit more damage. And if I want to totally max that out. Should be slightly more, I think. Yeah, 62. You could probably even get a little bit more than that. So what a lot of players are doing is starting with heavy Scythe. I'm not a big fan of that. Okay, let's talk about some side switch combos. She doesn't have very many and they all take meter, but there are some situations where I think that they're useful. So let me show you some of those situations. Say, for example, oops, she's walking away from me. Say we're in the corner and I land a stand heavy punch, punish counter, which does happen sometimes, like this. I'll normally immediately go into EX Horn so that I can side switch like this. Pretty good damage, and you actually get Oki here. You're plus 23. So you can like go like this or something. This does happen sometimes, not all that often. You know, normally when they're trying to push me into the corner and I'm trying to push out and they whiff a button and I hit them like this. The reason you don't have to really worry about it is if you just go into a regular combo here, and you're pushing them like over half screen. Like they're pretty close to the corner. I mean, it's like, you know, a couple dashes, so it's not a big deal, but you know, it is kind of cool. The other place that it shows up that I think is really valuable, and this is one of my favorite things to do, say they try to DI you in the corner, you counter DI them. This route is truly one of my favorites. What we're going to do is we're going to do stand medium kick target combo. We're going to cancel that into medium Scythe, and then we're going to roll under them using the heavy version of the roll. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So I can roll on the other side of them. Now, not only that, that's kind of cool enough, right? It looks kind of cool, you're plus 20, but this is something that I stole from someone on Twitter. Oops. What I just did there was, first of all, let me turn her off. OD scratch wheel. So I did one additional light roll when I got on the other side of her, and I went into mallet smash, the heavy kick overhead. Okay, this is awesome because it's meaty, and it's plus 3. And so if they like press a button here. I'm plus 8, and so then I get all sorts of stuff. Oh, that actually crossed up. I didn't realize. I thought I was going to be closer to the corner. Right, whatever you want. Okay, it's a pretty cool side switch, and, you know, people aren't ready for it. They're not ready for it to be meaty. They're definitely not ready to parry. And you can actually do it into nothing. So say they are just, like, just trying to fucking bust out all the time. Right, you can blow them up for it. So kind of cool. I like that side switch a lot. You know, typically you don't need to side switch because as soon as you would get into some kind of route, you're just pushing so much corner carry anyways, it just doesn't matter. Is there anything else worth showing you as I start thinking about wrapping this up? I know this has been a lot of information. If you're still watching, man, I really appreciate you. I'm going to show one more thing here, something that comes up for me a lot. And that is, what if you autopilot into this string? Right, so this happens a lot where you're kind of naturally going into this, or you're doing like something like this to catch them walking back, right? And you know, what happens to me mid-screen, or what used to happen a lot, is I would do a sequence like this, and then I would go like this, but then I would have no way of getting into level 2 to kill, or I mean level 3, right? Because this whiffs. So this is for situations where you are you know, trying to close out a round and it's frantic, and you don't know how to get level 3 because it just doesn't work at this space. This was a big problem for me for a while. Well, you can just do this. After the drive rush, you can actually drive rush this, Oops. Of course I dropped it. Okay, so this is a way to just cash out. It's not the most efficient combo in the world, but does more than you might think it would. The other place that this shows up is maybe you whiff punish somebody, but because you're so used to going into these kind of routes, you're not exactly like ready, you know? So this is the place where it probably comes up even more often, actually. So Elena's gonna whiff here, and you're like, oh shoot, I want to go into level 3. This is the way you do that mid-screen. The reason you want this route is because a lot of times it closes out. One, this does a bunch of damage, like an unexpected amount of damage. Okay, 5,300. I mean, you're killing people from a whiff punish here. So, like, if my opponent is at 55% or less, and let me show you how to visualize that, because, right, they're at this much health, which seems like a lot. They're actually dead here, right? Which is crazy, right? They're just hanging out in neutral, playing 55%. You're in the last round, and you're like, hey, if I get one hit here, they're dead. I mean, you're just looking for that single whiff punish, and they're dead. So kind of cool. The other reason it's useful is if you don't have this routing, you really don't have much. The only other option you have is to cancel the Scythe into it, and the damage difference is pretty astonishing. And so, you know, you're still getting good damage here. Not enough to kill often. Right, so about 1,000 difference there. The other thing that you can do, I guess, which is worth noting, is maybe you don't want to spend any meter on this situation because you autopilot the whiff punish with the drive rush. But you think you might be able to kill. This links right into level 2 if you wanted to. So, you know, just always remember that this is an option for you. Other than that, I think that that's it. Yeah, I think that is about it. I guess the only other thing to keep in mind that I'm still experimenting with now, I don't have too much to say about it, but her air target combo is pretty good. I guess more specifically if they're actually jumping at you. Alright, so I'm just getting the first hit here. That's okay. Alright, juggle state, whatever. The reason this has been helpful to me, I have not labbed this enough. The reason this has been helpful to me so far is against, like, in the Bison matchup or something. When he's trying to do Devil's Reverse, you can go up there and get it with air target combo. Okay. All right, well, that's it for me. Appreciate you guys watching this video. Hopefully it was helpful to you. You know, obviously not everything that you need, but definitely hopefully enough to get you started. Hopefully this is more helpful than just a regular combo video or just a quick Twitter clip. Trying to treat this more like a database of just all the information. I will link a Google Doc that's the script that I used for this, what I was thinking about beforehand, and the notes that I had, which has a lot of the combo notation and stuff. And that's it. All right, see you guys next time.